Making his debut in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939, Batman became an instant hit with the fans, leading to the longest-running legacy that branched out not just into each and every form of media, but also toys and merchandise. Being a vigilante crime fighter, Batman is a man of principles. One very well-known principle that Batman carries as a part of his code of conducting superhero business is his no-killing rule that has always made his job extra tricky and provided fans with a lot of entertainment across different versions. But even Batman gets pushed to the limits sometimes, which prompts him not to be so generous with sparing the lives of his enemies. At Marvelous Videos, we take a look at 12 such instances when Batman was compelled to kill a character. So without any further ado, let's jump right into 12 characters killed by Batman.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Joker. We start off this exciting list with none other than the Clown Prince of Gotham City himself, the Joker. With his crazy over-the-top schemes to terrorize the city, games that test human nature, evil grin, and a maniacal laughter, Joker has earned a well-deserving spot as Batman's ultimate nemesis. Always going toe-to-toe with the Dark Knight and challenging his every ability in the most wicked way possible, Joker crossed that unseen line in one particular version of the character. In the comic book, Injustice: Gods Among Us Year 3, issue number 13, Joker tries his best to kill Lois Lane and her unborn baby in front of Superman's eyes. Joker uses scarecrow powder to trick the Man of Steel into killing a pregnant Lois, thinking he was fighting Doomsday, when Batman saves the day by informing Clark that it's Lois. Superman flies with all his might to save Lois and succeeds, and wants to question the Joker after that, when Batman intervenes. Batman assures Clark that the Joker will never hurt him again and takes him away into his Batmobile when the arch-enemies have a calm conversation. The Joker talks about how Batman is the main reason behind his evil. Every evil deed he did was to perform for Batman, and he was the person Joker smiled for. He then goes on to talk about how he will wait for Superman to have his child so he can torment the child because he likes the way they scream. Batman swiftly twists Joker's head and breaks his neck, promptly killing him in a single move, as Joker's words were enough to push the Dark Knight to his limits, making them Joker's last words. He immediately turns himself into Gotham Police, which is the end of the issue.
You dare? You dare?
Darkseid is a godlike supervillain from the DC universe who is usually an antagonist against Superman, but he gets into the path of Batman once, and not to a very favorable end. In Final Crisis number 6, amidst Darkseid's evil plans to use the anti-life equation to warp all of reality and bend it to his will, the Dark Lord is confronted by the Dark Knight. In addition to warping reality, the new god uses the equation to subjugate the Earth and in turn transform it into an apocalyptic wasteland when Batman escapes captivity and makes his way to Darkseid's stronghold. Bruce swears that he wouldn't hesitate to use a Radion-powered gun against Darkseid to fire the same bullet Darkseid used to kill Orion. Darkseid takes another jab at Bruce by asking the Caped Crusader if he can outrace the Omega Sanction, making the Dark Knight take a shot at Darkseid and hit him in the shoulder. Darkseid retaliated by firing the Omega Sanction at Batman, seemingly killing him, but in reality, sending him back in time. The shot manages to wound Darkseid terribly, but doesn't kill him, but he ends up getting finished off by a group of heroes shortly after. While Batman did not land the final blow, his abandonment of his prime rule led to the Dark Lord's ultimate defeat and the salvation of reality. Superman. When it comes to saving the day, villains aren't the only ones to have their worst fates realized at the hands of Batman. Superman and Batman have had a nice friendship and an intense rivalry going on throughout the issues of the comics, and the always asked question by fans of who would win in a battle has been answered multiple times, with Superman and Batman winning a few rounds each. But in Batman/Superman Annual Number 1, published in 2020, when the mischievous Batmite and Mr. Mxyzptlk debated over which one of their champions would win if they came to blow, Batman locks horns with the Man of Steel and manages to kill him in the craziest plan ever seen, also sacrificing himself. Batmite's scenario saw a desperate Batman vow to kill Superman as he was somehow collapsing the multiverse on itself. Clark accidentally kills most heroes, including the Bat family, and the heroes engage in a prolonged bout. Superman flies off into the sky with Batman to get him to stop his assault when the Dark Knight deploys his final weapon. He uses an array of satellites to turn the sun red, subsequently weakening the Kryptonian and sacrificing himself, leading to both the heroes falling to their ultimate demise, which was common for Batman to sacrifice himself when killing another person, as it seems like an equal trade, especially if the multiverse was at stake. Reverse Flash. One of the most captivating storylines to come out of the Justice League universe is the Flashpoint Paradox, in which Barry breaks the space-time barrier and ends up creating an alternate universe which is at the brink of war between the Amazons and Atlanteans, an event that is bound to end the world. Barry loses his powers and his family in this universe, which makes him seek out the Batman for answers when he discovers that the Batman of this universe is actually Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, and that Bruce was killed in the alleyway. The Dark Knight from this universe is old and has much less patience than the Batman we know. As seen in the 2013 animated film Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, after an extended battle between Barry and Reverse Flash results in Barry's defeat, Reverse Flash tells him how he likes this new universe Barry created and will do anything to stop Barry from undoing it. When the no-nonsense Batman fires a bullet right through the middle of Reverse Flash's forehead, so Barry could use all the Speed Force in this universe to get back to his original timeline. The old Batman, Thomas Wayne, also has a small ulterior motive to help Barry, to preserve the world where his son Bruce is alive. Roz Alghoul. One of the most iconic reboots of Batman that breathed a whole other life into the character was the Dark Knight trilogy, which was kicked off by the 2005 hit film directed by Christopher Nolan titled Batman Begins. In the film, Bruce is trained by the League of Shadows and their leader Roz Alghoul to master various forms of martial arts in the depths of the Himalayas. When Bruce is asked to execute a prisoner as a rite of passage at the end of his training, he refuses to make the kill and instead ends up escaping the facility, which serves as the establishment for Batman's famous no-killing rule. Throughout the film, we see the Dark Knight finding creative ways to make the criminals squeal instead of killing them, but he is forced to make an exception at the end of the climax. Roz Alghoul gets pinned down in a derailed tram after the final battle between the hero and the villain of the film in Gotham City, and Batman refuses to rescue him, explicitly saying, "I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you," and glides out of the tram, leaving Roz Alghoul to fall to his doom. Not a very likely behavior for the Batman we know.
Dust.
Dracula. In the 2005 animated superhero film The Batman vs. Dracula, two iconic characters clash in the most gothic fashion, pitting the Caped Crusader against the king of vampires himself, Count Dracula. Dracula is accidentally brought to life by Penguin and is revealed that he was brought from Transylvania to Gotham City, and now he wants to take over it by turning the citizens into an army of the undead, starting with Penguin, who now works as a daytime servant to the Count. Bruce Wayne hosts a corporate party to celebrate his latest project, a prototype solar energy storing device, where Dracula appears at the party posing as a cultural anthropologist named Dr. Alucard and takes an interest in Vicky Vale, the reporter dating Bruce. Later in the film, he kidnaps Vicky in an attempt to resurrect his old bride, Carmilla, and it falls upon Batman to battle the army of undead using garlic-coated weapons and rescue Vicky. Batman successfully interrupts the ritual to bring Carmilla back to life, prompting the Count to follow the hero back to his Batcave, where Alfred attempts to use the vaccine Batman concocted to turn the undead back to life on Dracula, but to no avail. Bruce quickly realizes what needs to be done and fires up the prototype solar energy storing device and points it towards Dracula, swiftly incinerating the Count into a pile of ashes, only to be swept up by Alfred. Two-Face. The second entry in the iconic cinematic trilogy created by Chris Nolan is the 2008 hit film titled The Dark Knight, which brought to life two of the most gritty villains of the Batman franchise, Joker and Two-Face. Although Joker serves as the main antagonist of the film and spends the whole runtime antagonizing the Dark Knight and pushing him to his limits, he manages to win the mercy of Batman and end up not getting killed by him, in spite of trying very hard to make the Dark Knight break his main rule. However, Harvey Dent, who at the start of the film is one of the good guys, transforms into the evil villain Two-Face when his fiancée Rachel Dawes mercilessly dies at the hands of the Joker and meets a rather unpleasant end when he compels the Bat to drop him to his death at the end of the film. Two-Face set out to exact revenge on everybody responsible for Rachel's death, goes around killing his enemies by deciding their fate with a coin flip, and ends up kidnapping Gordon's son in order to make him pay. Even after extensive trial from a wounded Bruce, Harvey refuses to let go of the child, making the hero jump to the boy's rescue and pushing Harvey to his fall, which would ultimately kill him. Hugo Strange. Making his first appearance way back in 1940 in Detective Comics issue number 36, Professor Hugo Strange was seen as a scientist and criminal mastermind who used a stolen concentrated lighting machine which generated a dense fog in the night so his goons can rob banks unseen. Ultimately, one of his goons commits a murder, bringing the evil scientist under Batman's radar, hence kicking off their iconic rivalry. Hugo Strange was one of the Caped Crusaders' first recurring villains, and also one of the first to discover his secret identity. In Batman issue number 1, Hugo Strange is sent falling from a cliff by Batman to his apparent death, but as suspected by Batman, the Mad Professor makes a comeback in Detective Comics issue number 46 and starts spreading a fear-inducing powder around the city. Batman learns of the location of his airplane hangar and confronts Hugo Strange, in a battle that gets grim as the loser of the battle takes the fall off the edge of a cliff. Strange takes his shot and misses the nimble Batman, who does not miss and lands a firing shot on the chin of his enemies, then crackles the land under him, sending him falling. He tries to teeter onto the edge momentarily, clawing for balance, but ends up toppling to his doom, ending the career of Professor Hugo Strange. KG Beast. Anatoly Knyazev, otherwise known as the Beast, is a Soviet-era assassin who was hired to kill various ranking American officials, mainly President Ronald Reagan, and was later awarded the moniker of KG Beast by the CIA. In issue number 420, Batman destroyed KG Beast's arm gun and led him down into the sewers where the hero is challenged by KG Beast. Batman simply leaves the room and closes the door behind and blocks it with wooden planks, essentially burying the villain alive, never to be found. And that is not even the last time Bruce spares no mercy towards the Beast. In Batman issue number 57, the Dark Knight crosses paths with the Soviet assassin once again, and this time ends up firing his grappling gun at a close range into the villain's face directly, snapping his neck and mortally wounding him, and then abandons him in the frozen tundra. This event was repeated and changed a bit in later stories, which draws attention to the interesting fact that this relatively obscure villain garnered so much wrath and mercilessness from the Caped Crusader on multiple occasions. Devil Ray. In the final season of the animated series Justice League Unlimited, Gorilla Grodd's latest evil scheme includes taking over the Gorilla City and turning the world's population into gorillas using the city's technology, when it's met with a wedge from the spectral Deadman. Deadman recruits Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman to fight Grodd and his newly formed Legion of Doom, a part of which is Devil Ray. Devil Ray is confronted by a Wonder Woman possessed by Deadman and almost gets killed when Deadman decides to spare him. However, Devil Ray attempts to kill Wonder Woman when he is prevented by Deadman, now possessing Batman's body, grabs one of Lex Luthor's weapons, and shoots the villain. The impact from the blow sends Devil Ray flying into an exposed electric panel, making the surge kill him. Although it was not Batman's own intention to kill Devil Ray, it was still his body to take the shot. Alfred Striker. One of the early villains that appeared as Batman's foes was Alfred Striker, a criminal in Gotham City, making his first appearance in Detective Comics issue number 27. Since it was very close to the inception of Batman, the character was still growing and did not have a set of well-defined rules, and would rather follow the patterns laid out by earlier comic heroes. As a result of this, during their final confrontation, Stryker is punched into a vat of acid by the Dark Knight and dies. The death served an ironic purpose, as the acid Striker fell into was a creation from Striker's company itself. The end of Alfred Striker was written into the new issue number 52, where he was kicked into the vat of acid instead of being punched. The Mad Monk. In the earliest days of Detective Comics, in issue number 32, Batman leaves Gotham City to travel to Hungary in pursuit of a mysterious villain. After arriving in Hungary, Batman traveled through a vast range of mountains to find the villain known as the Mad Monk, who, in a contradiction to his name, was not at all peaceful and was actually a vampire. Being the days of no rules for the Dark Knight, he resorts to his own methods of killing paranormal creatures and rid the world of such villains. Marvelous verdict. The Dark Knight may be a vigilante with non-conventional ways about conducting his business against the crime bosses of Gotham City, but his methods fetch results. Killing or no killing, the Caped Crusader always had the best intentions of catering to the welfare of his city, and sometimes the whole known universe, and we as fans are always thankful for his contributions to the world of entertainment. Hope you had fun going through this exciting list of Batman villains, and stay tuned to Marvelous Videos for more coverage on the hero that Gotham City deserves, but not the one it needs. Thank you for watching.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.